Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to part three, and I thank you. I'm gonna thank you at a time, just for coming all this way. You are doing yourself a great service by listening to me talk. Um, but yeah, this is part three, and today we're gonna talk about operators, different mathematical operators you can use in C++. And I just remembered that last video when we went over all the different variable types. I talked about at the beginning, but I never really gave an example. So if you don't recall, it was float. There's also a variable type called float, and we'll name it. It's got to be it's a decimal point value, just like double. It just holds less. I think I showed you it's less bytes per variable. It's a little more efficient. So what can I name this? Dogs. Doesn't make much sense, but 3.54. And, whoops. If we just see out dogs, we will see that it does the same thing as a double. Very interesting. Let's go. Come on. I'm going to start naming my computer Clarice. 3.54. See? Same exact thing almost as a double. It just can't hold that many, as many decimal point values as a double. Just thought I'd give you an example because I know I touched on it and I said I was going to and I never did. But anyway, today we're going to talk about operators. So the main ones are, as you can probably guess, plus, minus, multiplication, and division. We'll also talk about modulus, and I'll go over what that means after the rest. So, why isn't this red? I don't know. Plus, minus, and the multiplication. Plus and minus are pretty easy to remember. Multiplication is not an x; it is the what's that called? The asterisk. And divisions, the slash, and modulus is percentage, just so you know. So how do we use these? So we're going to have an int named a. It's going to equal 2. And we're going to have another int named b. It's going to equal 3. Right? So how do we do the plus? It's pretty easy. You just do a plus b. And then we'll end the line. So what this does here is, because we don't have in quotations, remember, it's not. If we had this in quotations, remember, it would print out explicitly a plus b. Well, we don't. That'd be dumb. That'd mean nothing. It's actually going to do the operation right here and print it out at the same time. So I'll go ahead and show you what I mean by that. Come on, Clarice. 5. Does that make sense? Yeah, because a is 2, b is 3, a plus b is 5. Pretty simple. Okay, so to do it, you just write it out like you would expect. You can also do this. You can make another int, c, and it's going to be equal to a plus b. So just as you would expect, the value of c is going to equal a, the value of a, plus the value of b. Go ahead and show you that. I'm sure some of you are like, wow, this is pretty self-explanatory, but it's good to always go over. So as we expected, the value of c is 5 because a is 2, b is 3. All right, makes sense. Now, what was the next one? Minus. Minus, same thing. What would we expect it to be? Well, 2 minus 3 is negative 1. We expect it to print out negative 1. Let's see if it does this. It does. Okay, so you can do this with all operators. Multiplication, we expect it to be 6, right? and we'll see here in a second. That's exactly what happens. 6. Awesome. Okay, so to do division, I'm going to show you what happens when we keep them as integers, because remember, an integer only stores a whole number. So 5 divided by 3, we'd expect it to be 1 point something, but since it's an integer, what it will do is just cut it off at the point and keep the whole number, and that's it. So it's just 1. Okay, but if we made this 6, then it wouldn't matter, because it would just be 2. So how do we fix this? I'll show you. There we go, 2. How do we fix this? I'll show you right now. So first, the integer c is the one holding the value, so we're going to change this to double. Okay? And we're still doing integer division. We're still doing 6 divided by 3. So we have to make one of these a floating point or a double. Preferably the top one. Well, it has to be the top one, I suppose. So we'll change this also to a double. And now we can do the 5. 5 divided by 3. Because we are no longer doing integer divided by integer, now it's a double divided by an integer. And now we will get the decimal point. Okay, so be careful when dividing. Unless it's a whole number, it will not come out as expected. Just remember that. And last thing I wanted to talk about, which was modulus. What is modulus? Okay, so let's say we're given 7 divided by 2. What does that equal? Well, that's equal to 3.5, or 3 with a remainder of 1, right? Because 3 times 2 is 6, and then there would be a remainder of 1. So what modulus is if we were to do 7, I'm trying to make it visually appealing here. 7 modulus 2, that would equal 1. Why is that? Modulus shows the remainder. So it's not like division. It will give you the remainder. Okay? So we'll show you an example here. So if we do 5 modulus 3, what would you expect c to be? Well, 3 goes into 5 once, and what's the leftover? 2, right? So we'd expect c to equal 2. And we'll find out that that is correct. I don't care. What the hell? Invalid operands of double and int binary operator. No. There we go. It did not like that. Here we go. So we see 2 is the answer. So just think about remainder when you're doing modulus. It's as simple as that. What would be the remainder? That would be modulus. When does this come in use? Usually even and odd. If something's even and it's divided by 2, it'll have a modulus of 0 because it is divisible by 2, therefore it's even. If it has a modulus of 1, then it is odd. We'll probably see that later on in a different video. But anyway, those are the simple operators. If you'd like to, if you're following along, go ahead and try a few of them out on your own. Get a hold of them, see what you think. Who is calling me? Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. I hope you learned something, and I hope you're enjoying this series. I'm having a decent time. A decent time making them. I think it's fun. If you have any questions, make sure to comment. And yeah, thanks again.